Welcome to another night at Quick Fix Golf at quickfixgolf.com, where we get together with a lot of our friends and talk golf, learn golf, have special guests. We're always on Wednesday nights, and we have a very special one tonight. This very pretty lady here, Jennifer King, is president of KZG Golf Club. Jennifer, welcome to the gang.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to this.
Oh, we are too, believe me. This is going to be great. Hello?
Yes.
Oh, we're here. We're here.
Darren, it's
You hear me? Okay, well, my name's Darren DeMailey.
and I'm Bobby Lopez, and we're the PGA pros at
Tupelo Bay.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, right. Game on.
And then at Patterson Golf Park, of course, we have Steve, the man Hippert. Over 15,000 lessons given.
Well, he's about to keel over and die. Look at all those lessons.
Look at that. Isn't that something? He's the head coach at George Mason University. And there's Tupelo Bay, where we like to hang out, right in Myrtle Beach, where all the action is. She just mentioned that Palm Springs is a golf mecca. We got how many courses within a small radius over?
We have we have like 130 courses within a 15-mile radius. It's amazing.
Well, that's more than us then.
Yeah, that's got Myrtle Beach beat.
And Darren, tell them what they need to do to get in touch with Quick Fix Golf.
I'll tell you what, this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity here, because you're going to get a free analysis live of your golf swing. So what you need to do is get out your cell phones and send us your videos. Down the line, face on to quick service at quickfixgolf.com. Not a penny out of your pocket. We'll set up a time for you to go over your videos. You can ask as many questions as you want. And you really owe it to yourself. It's a great opportunity. Don't miss out.
QuickFixGolf.com. Tonight, our guest again, Jennifer King from KZG. And many of you might not have heard of KZG before, but I can tell you from personal experience, you can't beat the quality. The quality of their equipment is really excellent. So what I'm going to do now is let's go over to their website. And then here we go, about KZG. And Jennifer, fire away. Tell us something about KZG and what it is you all do over there.
Well, it's owned by my husband and myself. We opened it up back in 1994. We're in our 26th year of business. Wow. And when we started, we said we're going to do something demonstrably different and demonstrably better than what golfers were getting at the time. And I know many of your audience have probably even played some of our clubs. I did all the Orlamar Tri-Metal back in 98, 99. It was the #1 fairway wood. I've had pros, oh my God, Phil Mickelson, Michelle Wee, Lydia Cole, Nick Price, Nick Faldo, Patrick Harrington. I could go on and on, have played our clubs, but I've never paid anyone to play them. What we have focused on is being the #1 in custom equipment for golfers, because I'm a big believer in custom fitting. It's a tragedy. They have done so many tests, and still to this day, 90% of golfers are playing the wrong equipment. And Bobby, you know better than anyone that everybody's swing is different, and their bodies are different, and they need different types of clubs.
So you started how many years ago?
26 years ago.
26 years ago. Wow. I know. I've seen KZG several times. I've always known it's. Now, are they made in Japan? Are they forged in Japan, or were they?
We used to forge in Japan, but it got so crazy pricey. And now we do a lot of our forgings in Taiwan. And the forging system is the same. It's done by a huge machine. And what I like about being able to do it in Taiwan is that I can do CNC milling on the forging after, so that the specifications are perfect, pinpoint perfect. If you just have them hand ground, you get a lot of variances because it's just human error.
Well, let's go through some of your line here. We're going to start with the heavy hitters and the low handicappers. And
are you looking at irons first, or what are you going to look at?
See our screen?
Looking at which, honey? Oh, what? Okay.
Can you see our screen?
Where? No. No, I'm on my cell phone. So I have
you're on your cell phone.
Are you? Oh,
Okay.
okay. So are you on a low handicap page, a mid handicap page, or
ZO Plus?
the ZO clubs? Okay, they are the zero offset forged irons were made for Tiger and for God, and the original ZO, we sold so many of them, so many pros. It is a competitive player's blade, and it's not only triple forged, but it has a softer leading edge than the original one, and it's very workable, and it is a dream for tour players.
Now, when you say triple forge, what does that mean for our gang that might not know?
Forging is an interesting situation. What we do is we take a billet of virgin carbon steel,
right,
and we heat it up to like 1200 degrees centigrade. We then come down with a huge forging pressure, tonnage coming down to hit the tool with the billet in it, and it sort of squishes it into the mold. And then we do that 3 times. So what happens is it compresses the molecules of the metal, and there are no voids in the metal.
Give me
and
some
that's
wine,
why
please.
you need some wine. And so tour players love it because you're going to get a consistent workability at all times. There are no voids. Sometimes if you have a cast iron, there's a chance you might have a void or a bubble behind where you're hitting, and you might get a different result every time you hit.
So the K Tour Forge, that's the next one we're looking at here.
Yeah, that's sort of a half and half. And a lot of tour players are even getting away from the total blades because, they're not as forgiving. And this K Tour Forge was for the avid golfer looking for a little perimeter, but, still a muscle back with more workability.
Now, what do to tell some of our average listeners, why would they get a forge rather than a 431 stainless steel, which is the most common metal configuration?
Right. Well, okay. Well, what forging does, like I say, it is you get consistent heads every time because there are no voids in the metal. That's number one. Number two is the forgings are more expensive. It's just the process is more expensive. The tooling is more expensive. And so and today we're doing cast so well. I don't think most of a recreational players would really feel the difference that much because our castings, we even double heat our castings so that they have the feel of forged, but without that expense.
All right, let's go to the mid handicapper. Darren, why don't you ask her? Was showing some. Well, there you go. Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, at Tupelo Bay, we had a gentleman that was doing a lot of club fitting and using your product for a number of years, and he was really, really successful. His name was Rod Gaynor, and really, really successful. I don't know if you recall the name or not.
I do. It sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
And one of the things that Rod did was, go ahead.
I was going to say, we have like hundreds of dealers around the world. In fact, we have more dealers in Europe than we do in the USA. And so, but I do remember Rod.
Yeah, he was really successful. And one of the things that he did, the Tupelo Bay is primarily, the mid or even a little higher handicapper, was he would order the heads. He would put a really weak shaft in the club, and then he would bend the loft super strong like they are nowadays. So, and he did this, 10 years ago, well before the curve. And, it was a really successful move on his part because everyone could hit the ball, 20 yards farther because the lofts were jacked, and in addition, get it into the air because the shafts were weak. And I see the clubs coming in all the time, people looking to get them regripped or shafts broken. And it was a really big product at Tupelo Bay, and that's one of the things he did and why he was so successful with it. Has the lofts and specs changed over the years? Are they still similar to what they were?
Well, I'll tell you, the major brands were the ones that started making the loft stronger. And they did it so that if you had one club, they could have their club actually go further on a launch monitor. It really is when the launch monitors came in that they started doing this. And the problem is making all the lofts stronger resulted in really making obsolete the 3-iron, the 4-iron, and even the 5-iron. And it's really, it was silly, and now they could sell more hybrids, which are more expensive. So I don't know if it really helped the golfer. It might probably helped all the golfing brands. But today, what I do for people that are beginners or seniors who are frustrated because they're losing distance, there are so many other options we can do. Number one, we have forged insert irons. Now these are a cast iron, but I have a forged insert face. The FF and the LDI are examples of those. And we are getting 10 yards distance, greater distance, and the lofts are the same. We haven't jacked up the loft on those. And the other thing for seniors and people who have lost distance, we have sort of thrown all the irons away and put them into hybrids. And they're easier to hit, and they get a great more distance. And we're having a lot of success with that. We have out here in Palm Desert, Palm Springs area, we have a lot of seniors out here, as you probably do near Tupelo. So we know that market. And you're right, we have a lot of variations in the shafts. And our guys that's why we're very selective on who we will be a dealer. They have to take the time to really work with the golfer and see their needs and dial in perfectly what they need.
Is your hybrid set on the website?
Yeah, the hybrids are on the website. If you go back, just go to the home page and then just scroll down and you see the hybrid. So double click on that. The H370 is probably the most popular hybrid we've ever had. And I mean, we sell a ton of them. We have them from 18 degrees to 42 degrees. Geez. So it's a full, and they're easy to play. They're getting great distance. I mean, we sell a ton of them. The GF Dual has 2 weight ports. And so we can even make finer modifications on that one. The GF Tour has 1 weight port and is really designed more for the avid player or the lower handicap player.
Do the GF Duals come in additional lofts as well, just like that H370? Or
no, right now we only have them in 3 lofts.
Okay.
And but we'll bring them on. See, what we do is we're a little different than the other companies. Yeah, we offer an 18, 22, and 26 in the Dual. The other company, we don't just change our models like our underwear. I mean, we actually keep models in the line and they have intrinsic value. And we're not changing them every year. And I'm not giving a lot of hype saying we're going to get 20 yards further, by this 2020 model. And I think golfers are getting fed up with that line of buzz. So we keep it in the line. And our dealers, who are the top fitters, they're the top coaches, teachers, and fitters in the world. And they'll tell us when they want more.
Go ahead.
We will add. We listen to them. So, a lot of our product is a result of listening to our professionals, because they'll tell us what they need.
I'll tell you what, our we have a partnership with Dean Beeman, who was the commissioner of the PGA Tour for a ton of years. And one of the concepts of our beginners program is to start everyone with a 7 hybrid type of club for lots of different reasons, the loft being one of them. And the sole itself, it's a lot easier for a beginner to hit the ground and get the ball moving with a hybrid. And it's just tough to find. It's tough to find clubs that, you know, have that amount of loft and get it lofts in the 8 and 9 irons where you've got, you know, 40 degrees of loft in a hybrid. And it's nice to see that now we have some good options here.
Right. And, you know, I must applaud you to provide the club to the beginner, because I can't tell you how many people will come for their first lesson with a cheap set of box set of clubs or Uncle Harry's cut down clubs and then try to hit them. And if we're going to keep our golfers in the game, if they can learn to have a natural swing using clubs that actually fit them, we're really going to be successful.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. That's for sure, because the psychology is just as important as the instruction. And getting them with, you know, a 7 hybrid type of club, we fit them with a long putter as well, and it really makes a big difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you'll keep them in the game. I mean, I can't tell you how many people leave the game. They're so frustrated. They, you know, when their 9 iron is going further than their 7 iron, they don't understand why, because it's all weighted wrong.
Yeah, it is a big problem. Yeah, it's a big problem with the game nowadays. Instruction is not taught properly, especially to the beginner, and that's why they leave the game real quick, because they don't get good instruction. They don't have a golf club that'll fit and work for them, and they quit. They don't. It's a difficult game. So instruction needs to, you know, to get better, and players need to start out with, all we give them is a 7 hybrid type of club and a long putter to get them going. That's it. So they get a feel for the game, and they don't get frustrated.
Right, and we do that for our teaching pros all the time. They might put in an order just for a 7 iron or a 7 hybrid, or they might order a set of 5, 7, 9 pitch, and we do it. We'll fill in later, and that, you know, it's not like you're ramming 14 clubs down their throat coming out the gate. You know, get them into the clubs that fit them, so they actually can start getting the enjoyment of hitting a club and getting some great results.
I guess you're fans of frequency matching the golf shaft.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's probably one of the most important things when you're building a club. And you know what, and I'm just going to digress for one moment. The club fitting is so important, but equal to club fitting is the club building. And I've got to tell you, so many people just, you know, think they want a certain club and they don't understand how it should be built, or how, you know, if it is built correctly. And one of the things is the frequency matching. And what that does, it allows your swing to stay in the groove, and the club will match the feel and the performance with, you know, so with that same swing. And it's such an important feature. What we do is we will actually frequency match clubs, and basically what it does is make it feel the same and perform the same throughout your set. But you have to be careful. You can't just frequency match a set of irons and then play a hybrid on a different scale. The whole set should be frequency matched. And frequency matching is, what we do is we tip trim the shaft to a certain cycles per minute. And when we build clubs, we frequency match to a plus or minus 1 CPM, which is absolutely a tour build. And we believe every golfer deserves that.
What about spining?
Pardon me, honey?
How about spining?
We do. We use spining or
Or is it
and what we do,
is it a bunch of hooey
we
actually?
use it. Well, yes and no. The shafts today, the whole purpose of spining is they say there's one part of the shaft going down the line that is heavier or has more modulus, carbon modulus on it. If you've ever seen a graphite shaft made, what they do, they have strips of carbon modulus, and they're sort of in a parallelogram type of, because the shaft, gets wider as you get closer to the buttoning. And then they would overlap these pieces of material and roll them to get the shape. And sometimes when they did it, they'd get more material in one part of the shaft. Today, they don't hand roll shafts anymore. They computerize rolling them. So they're a little more accurate. But there sometimes can be spining. And frankly, if you took a bunch of pencils and threw them up in the air and they landed on the ground, you can do the same thing with the shaft. Where it rests with the weight will be on the bottom when they land. Now, some people, we use the spining more for droop. Because the head's a little heavy, the club can droop, the head could droop. And so we spine it to avoid the droop.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the spining making the spine face the target, so it's the weakest part of the shaft. The shaft's going to keep forward as you hit. So.
Yeah, no, we use it the other way. We use it to avoid the droop.
That's interesting. You got any other questions about
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah, I like these questions. Bring it on.
But hey, I tell you what, you're very knowledgeable. You know what you're talking about. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Can I ask
Thank
about
you.
swing speed and matching that up with what shaft or what swing speed?
Peanut gallery, because we know they can't stand it anymore. They got to say something. So go ahead, Albie.
Okay. Let me talk about swing speed. Okay. Everybody's different. Who was it? Olafable. Remember him? He'd take a swing and he'd wrap up like a thing and he'd just hit the club, right? But he would wrap his body up and just contort it. And then you look at Ernie Els, and he was slow and easy. Both of them got the ball the same distance. And swing speed is so different in everybody. Like some people load at the top of their swing, some load, unload, and load again. Some people are very handsy, they load around the hands. It's all a function of understanding where they're loading and what kind of shaft they need. I could never just say, oh, you need this kind of shaft until I see how you're swinging.
You just won me over.
Okay, good.
Because I hear so many people always say, you swing 90 miles an hour, you should have this shaft. And I said, you're full of baloney. I said, don't listen to that guy.
Well,
he has no idea what he's talking about.
That's the golf industry. They've been telling women if they're a lady, they should have an L shaft. They've been telling them that since day one.
Well,
they don't care.
Have you seen that report that was in Golf Digest back in 1994? I think it was. I have it. I can send it to you. Where they made that van.
Oh.
It looked like a lie detector. Had a little needle that went up and down, and it would measure from an RF transmitter that was put in the shaft. It would measure when and how you flex the shaft at one point in the swing, and they found that old guys that were swinging 70 miles an hour hit an X shaft better than a senior shaft.
Oh yeah.
Because they were short and choppy, and the shaft couldn't recover.
Exactly. And so today, God bless, with the launch monitors that we have, and we can analyze your swing. But it's important. I mean, there's just a lot of wannabes. There's a lot of people that claim they're professional fitters, and I've got to tell you, they're glorified salesmen. And they can stand next to even the most expensive TrackMan or Flight Scope or whatever, and they don't know what they're doing. They're looking for a sale. And but that's why we only work with the professionals that really have built up a reputation in their community, and they're there for to stay, and they're going to serve that golfing community for many, many years. And those are the guys that really care. I know some guys will spend 3 hours fitting somebody. They'll do whatever it takes to get it perfect. They really care.
Anybody else with a question? Steph?
I just want to say I'm super impressed. I mean, this is a really good opportunity for people to learn a little bit about fitting and the importance of it. And I'm really impressed with your knowledge because, Bobby and I are great club fitters, but there aren't very many out there that are. So I really appreciate you coming on the call with us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I really appreciate you and your commitment to helping golfers play their best.
Well,
So if I go on a demo day and I take, let's say, a 7-iron with a senior shaft, a regular shaft, and a stiff shaft, and hit a few balls, how can I tell which one is better for me?
Tenderness of hit.
Okay, that's a good question.
What was that?
That's a very good question. We at KZG do not do demo days.
Yay!
It's a big waste of time.
Well, they're just salesmen. Yeah, okay.
It's just a big waste of time.
You don't have time to fit somebody in the demo day. You got them lined up and stacked and circling, and you can't really do a real fitting.
That is correct. And so what we do is we take down a frequency analyzer and we say, let us have your clubs and we'll show you how the skills follow. And I can show you, I mean, it's sad. They're supposed to be on a slope, but in reality, some people have part of their irons are stiff, part of them are soft, everything's all over the board. Are you getting a lot of echo? I'm getting a lot of echo.
Are you getting an echo? I'm sorry, dude. Hold on.
No.
Let's see. All right, is the echo on?
Jen, could you answer the question about frequency matching?
Yeah, what about it?
Yeah, if you ordered let's say you ordered a 4, 5, 6 hybrid, and the rest 7 through A wedge, did they all be frequency matched?
I'm sorry. If they wanted a 7 through an A wedge, what was the question?
Yeah, a hybrid, 4, 5, 6 hybrid, and 7 through A wedge iron. Would they be frequency matched?
Absolutely, they should be frequency matched because you still want the golfer to be able to keep his swing.
Really bad
the only
feedback.
way he can keep his swing is if the clubs are functioning the same way with his swing.
Hybrids are frequency matched to your iron.
Well, one thing you got to understand, though, Bob, is that we're talking about different dollars. You're talking about buying a commercial set of golf clubs, like for instance, you go to a Callaway and you get the new Maverick and they're $7.99. That doesn't reach to the same degree of confidence as what we're talking about here. It's just not the same. I mean, those are mass-produced golf clubs that are very good, but you're not dialing it up to the max. But you're going to pay for that.
But our product is not that expensive. I mean, we're not spending millions of dollars on advertising. And our dealers are different.
Is there a dealer in Toronto?
Yes.
Who's the dealer in Toronto?
Okay. Find it. I got to go find a dealer in Canada.
I have it right here online. You just go to the website, kzg.com, and it says dealer locator, and then you just say what country. Look at this.
Okay, so here, there's a gentleman, Artisan Golf, and he is a phenomenal fitter. He's like but he's up in Ottawa. Okay. And then you have Sweetings.
There's Sweeting.
And he's in Peterborough.
That's a little closer.
Yeah, okay. And Osler Brook. Do you know Osler Brook?
Where's that?
In Osler Brook in Collingwood.
No, well, that's
Osler.
Oh, Osler. Okay, yeah. That's an hour or an hour and a half away.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Nobody
I wish I could have somebody. Yeah, I would say Precision Golf. John Wade, and he's at Power Golf now.
Where's he?
I have very much the same question. On your website, there's only one dealer in North Carolina, Leatherman. Can you tell me a little bit about them? They're 3 hours away, and if it's worth the 3 hours, then I'd do it.
Oh yeah, Leatherman's is a fabulous dealer, and you see the problem is, it's like how do you find the finest people that will really take the time to fit you right? And you know, most stores, I won't even sell to a big store. Most stores, you come in and you want to say, I want a Kepka plane. They'll say, oh, fine, here it is. Or if you say, I want the XYZ brand, they'll just hand that to you. Our dealer will say, well, sir, do you play like Kepka? You know, they don't tolerate it. You know? Okay.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, but Leatherman's is great.
How do your prices compare to some of the name brand middle handicap clubs?
Yeah, we don't price the internet because we don't know what head you're going to select. We don't know what shaft you're going to select, what grip you're going to select, what color, special coloring, because we customize everything. But just as I would say our drivers in U.S. dollars will range from $400 to $450. I think that's a good ballpark figure. And that's custom fit and custom built.
Hey, Jennifer, can I trade my clubs in?
I don't think our dealers take trade-ins. I think the PGA has a trade-in place. I mean, I think trade-ins are the scariest thing of all. I don't think anybody should play a trade-in club because you don't know how that club's been abused or altered or whatever. You know, if you buy a set of clubs that's really custom fit and built just for you, you should get 5-10 years of use out of them. You know, it's a tool. It's an important tool. They shouldn't be changed every year. You know, every time these pros change, you see them, they don't do quite as well, do they? It takes a while because they have to relearn to swing their new clubs because they're different. They're not made correctly for them. You know what I'm saying?
But Todd, yes, there's a PGA system where you can actually take in somebody's clubs and trade them in. The values are very poor, but if they're stuck with those clubs, I mean, it's better than nothing.
I just thought I would ask the question, and I'm not really considering trading my clubs in, but thought I would ask that question.
Well,
I'm sorry. Our
beginner box sets, is that what you're going to trade in?
So Jennifer, another follow-up question. I bought Strixons last year, and I bought the Forge Blade. It seems that they're soft and they nick pretty easily. Is that something you experience?
Well, no, not really. I don't know how they're made, and I don't know. I don't know that product, and I haven't seen it used. So it really shouldn't. I mean, there are some metals that people use, and they're like an old lady after 10 games. You know. I also insist on virgin carbon steel. You know, sometimes people use reused, recycled metals. If you do that, you run the risk of having different metallic qualities in that club head. You know, from brittle to too soft to whatever. So I'm sorry, I don't know how Srixon makes their clubs or what's their process or what's the material they use.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions real quick, or we'll call it a night? We've taken up a lot of Jennifer's time already. She's been terrific. Jennifer, you're a real sport to come on with us and put up with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope if you ever come out here to Palm Desert, you come visit us, and I hope you find a dealer near you.
Well, Jennifer, Bobby must be really impressed with you because he kept the jokes to a minimum tonight, and there were no off-color. Exactly.
I saw the story about the hokey lady. I did a little research on it, and I got to tell you, it is funny, but it's true. They do get in the way.
Yeah, we were nice tonight.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I've enjoyed myself. Thank you.
And we'll get back with you right away. I'm gonna get together.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Enjoyed having you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.